Hey guys, welcome to day 26 of my carnivore journey. Trying to get to that 90-day goal. Of course, if you guys are interested in my beginning stats, for some of you new people that's not going back and watching the beginning of the diary series, I have my stats listed down below. My beginning stats, as far as what I started out with, my height, weight, just some things like that. Also, I'm going to try to start putting the what I eat in the course from, and what I do is I'm going to count from the end of the last video. So that means if I had any snacks later on that night to today up into this video. So that's not going to include anything after the video, obviously. So pretty much for the last about 24 hours, I'm going to post everything that I ate since the last video. That way you guys can also see written wise. So if I just figure I better start doing that now, that way in the future, if you guys are going through like, hey, what did he eat in his second month or something or whatever, you can just kind of quickly go through the description and see everything I ate with approximate amounts. Okay, they're not always going to be exact. Okay, with that being said, guys, welcome and thank you guys so much. Again, my subscriber count's just been growing. Every time I turn around, you guys are awesome. I can't thank you enough. It's awesome that you guys really put out that love and support. There's the occasional negative comment in there, but hey, who cares? Like, that's just the internet. I mean, really, trust me, I've been on YouTube long enough. I get it. I've got some thick skin on that. But guys, let's get into some things real quick because I don't want to have this video too long. So there's I want to address something real quick, and that is there's a ton of variations, misinformation, misunderstood people, ignorant people, and of course knowledgeable people and people that are faithful and people that have faith in something. The point is that it's going to be tough, and I'm mostly speaking to people. I'm speaking to my own frustrations that I've experienced along the way, but also to the people out there, especially when I have multiple people that's been commenting and saying, "Hey, I've just started my journey. I'm right there with you." So keep your head up. Okay, that's what I want to tell you. Keep your head up. There's a lot of people out there that's going to give you a ton of advice, and I welcome advice. I do. But you also have to understand that it may not always be for your situation or work good for you. Everybody's a little different. You may have goals. You may want to just do a lion diet. You may want to do BBBE. You may want to have an extended thing. You may want to be more keto. Whatever it is, just try to bounce that off of what you're like. Listen to the ideas, because there's always some good ones. I get some good ideas. I incorporate them, and I'm like, awesome. That was something I incorporated. Sometimes I forget about some of them, and I'm like, oh God, I meant to do that idea. Like I'll see a comment later on and go, oh God, that's right. He told me to try this. But stick to your goals. Don't get frustrated. I know it's easy to get frustrated. It is. Trust me. There's so much out there. And then every time you start to think, then you see another video and you're like, wait a minute, what is this guy saying? Like, I thought I could trust this guy. What is he saying here? And he's starting to kind of scare me a little bit. Like, am I making? And then the minute we get that little bit of backsliding or hint of, we start panicking, because again, we're like all in on this carnivore. Most people, when they start it, they're like all in. They're like, I'm going to try it. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to pray that it's the right decision because I'm scared, because that deep-seated programming that we had, that we're going to have heart attacks from eating these plates of meat and stuff. I'm telling you, that's a reality. I'm not going to go into any science. This is just good old Josh here telling you how it is from just an everyday perspective, an everyday perspective, right? Now, I will say as far as psychology goes, I'm using a pen now. I will say there, if you guys haven't checked out Old Guy Carnivore, all right, and I know probably a lot of you have, but if you haven't checked out Old Guy Carnivore, I do recommend you check him out. He did a video where he talked about addiction versus habits, and also how addiction can tie itself to habits. And, he doesn't go into a huge amount of science of things, but he lays it out and organizes that process in a really done well. And I think the video's like why you fail at a diet or something like that. It's I really highly recommend it. If I can get the link before I finish editing this, if I remember, I'll stick it in below. If not, but I do highly recommend it because he really puts it in perspective. He puts it in the right words. He phrases everything the right way to lay out and get you to understand addiction versus habits, and then also how they tie in and things like that. Do I agree with it? I think so. Am I going to stick to like that bit of advice? Probably not. I want to, and maybe that's going to set me up for failure. You'll understand if you watch the video. But essentially, one of the things, and I don't even want to do that. I don't want to do that because if I do, then if I start pecking at something, then you guys might be like, hey, yeah, you're right. And I don't want you to think anything about his video. I want you to understand his message because it's a very good message. And if I say something off to the side, but what I'm saying is I really want to follow his advice and the line of thinking that he talks about with addiction and habit. I just don't know if I'll fully do that. I think I will. I mean, I'm getting better at those things. I was a 20+ year smoker, and I had to learn how to overcome addiction and habit. And a lot of things that he talks about, I had to do myself. So I get what he's saying. So go check it out for sure. But I wanted to talk about that. Let's see what else real quick. Triggers, right? Triggers. Guys, I know it's tough. It's again, like I've said before, it's easy to just eat and say, hey, I'm full, blah, blah, blah. But you got to remember, we're programmed. We are programmed, and we have habits and addictions. These addictions are tied to habits, and these things can go back years or even our whole lives. So there's going to be certain moments, certain smells, certain things in your life that things are just going to pop in your head. You're going to be around stuff. You're going to smell something. You might be whatever, and then something's going to pop in your head, and you're going to get that instant thought of like, oh man, I could really go for some like double-decker huge whatever sandwich because maybe you smelled the sub shop or you smelled the Burger King or something. You smelled the restaurants because you were out shopping or whatever, or you were out doing your Christmas shopping and you walk by and they got all those roasted almonds and all this, the smells and the flavors. And not to mention, we're also in a time when a lot of people are buying like wax melts, air fresheners, and what are they buying? They're buying like apple pie. They're buying these farm pumpkin apple stuff, vanilla, like caramel, was it pecan stuff? Like it's a lot of like Cracker Barrel. I don't know. It's a lot of smells that again are more food related versus more floral and lighter smells in the springs and summer. So remember that as you're doing the holidays. You got these cinnamon spices, all these flavors. And again, those are going to trigger wanting desserts. Those are going to trigger things. They will. So be prepared if you haven't already been experiencing it already. It's probably something I should have said some long time ago, but you know what I mean? I wanted to make you aware of those things too, if you're not going out too much, or if you do start encountering those more and more. Because inevitably they're going to trigger stuff, and you're going to get those triggers. Who knows? It could be even a year from now. trust me, I had some triggers every once in a while for smoking sometimes. Just when I thought, hey, I'm over it, I'm done, I have no desire to smoke. Then all of a sudden, one day out of the blue, something hits me and I'm like, man, I could go for a smoke. And then I'm like, whoa, wait, no. Like, what? Where did that come from? So again, just don't ever get complacent. Don't give up. Don't give up. And like I said, this diet is not real hard. It's more mental than anything, depending on your level of addiction. See, some people do this and they're great. They can start eating meat, be satisfied, and they don't really have that deep of an addiction. It was just habit stuff, that maybe they had. But in my case, it's just, I know it became a deep addiction. And I'm going to tell you why. And maybe some of you will understand this. And this is just my diary confessions. I'm keeping it real. So I do suffer from depression off and on, my whole life. It's one of the reasons why I have a goofy side to me. Comedians are like the clown crying on the inside, right? And, but for some reason, like I said, I don't have a lot to be depressed about, but it just is something I've had cycle through the life. So, one thing, no matter what, when it comes to right now in my life or lately, when work sucks, when your bills suck, life is just getting you down. Maybe, you got family issues. Maybe you got it. Maybe your marriage, your kids, whatever it is, one of the most solid things that we end up turning to is food. And if you think about it, a lot of food nowadays is drugs. And you eat it, it releases that dopamine, right? You get all nice and fat and happy from eating all that garbage and that junk and whatever it is. And it doesn't have to be sugar. It's not like you're just sitting on the couch, just eating, Snickers bars or something. Maybe you are, but it could be anything, cheeseburgers, whatever makes you happy. I mean, the whole variety of food in general, right? And all those carbs and sugar and all that. Oh, that decadence is just a tasty, tasty drug, a poison. But it was giving us that dopamine. It was giving us that feel good. It's the one thing in your life that you can rely on, right? That was good as far as that goes. For me, maybe not you, but for me. And it's that one thing. Or I could also cook for my family and make them happy. Or if I took them out to eat and I knew it was somewhere that was going to make them happy, I was using food as a vessel, and trying to make my family happy like that. Because, other ways I felt like maybe I wasn't failing at, or I didn't know how to make my family happy or whatever. Or maybe just life in general was getting all of us down. So, hey, guys, let's order pizza tonight. Yeah. And I would see the smiles like, yeah. And we got pizza and everybody eats it up. And of course, what happens? We get all like feeling like crap, bloated, all the after effects. And then at some point, depression comes back in. Well, guess what? To heal my depression, I need that dopamine hit. I need that euphoria, that those sugars and all those things. I need that. I need it. I need it in my life. I need it. That's what I'm telling myself. I need it. I want to feel better. So I go and I get something fun and I give myself a treat and I say, why not? I deserve it. I work hard. I deserve it. Life's tough right now. I deserve a freaking Reese's Pieces or Reese's Cups or something. I need something I enjoy. And then you get it. And it feels good. And you're like, oh, yes, chocolatey, peanut butter goodness. And then what happens? You get a little achy, whatever, later. You get that kind of weird, you're tired, whatever. You just feel like crap. You're gaining weight. The more you gain weight, the worse you feel about yourself. But you know what? You know what'll ease that pain? Food. Food, your drug, right? Your dopamine. Your high. That's what makes you feel better. So it's this vicious cycle. It's a vicious cycle. And we don't even realize it. It's the same thing as any other drug or alcohol abuse. It's the same thing. It's the same dependency to feel good. Because the food gives us comfort. It gives us that rush. Even if you don't consciously realize it, right? I mean, you don't just scramble into the kitchen and hurry up and gobble down some cake or something and be like, oh yeah, okay, I feel it. Yeah. I don't know. But it's not that, not like a junkie or something trying to shoot up and having it, heroin shooting through his veins or something. But it is that happiness that food would bring me every day or every night or every situation, that bit of joy, that little bit of drug, that little bit of hit, right? So guys, it's understandable if you're going to have cravings, and it's understandable if you're going to have these habits that's going to hit you, and because the drugs are around us. In the world, you can thaw out everything in your house. I don't have that luxury. I live in that divided house, as you guys know. But you can live in a house where you have nothing in there. But you're going to have to go out into the real world, and you're going to be around it. So remember, when you're around it, it's tasty poison. Think of it as crack cocaine or whatever it is, however you want to think about it. But you got to think about that food as that horrible, horrible drug. And you don't want to fall off the wagon and get hooked back on drugs again or alcohol or food, right? So hang in there. I know it's tough because I'm fighting it every day. I'm fighting. I just made some more butter bites. But yeah, guys, I just made some more butter bites so I could have my little bits of butter at after dinner. However, I will say that I'm a little nervous because this time, I thought last time the butter bites were good, and I thought they were a little salty at first. Now I kind of got used to them, and this time I tried unsalted butter. I wanted to see how they would come out unsalted butter. But when I was browning them, I got like this nice golden brown. I'm like, okay, I turn off the heat, and I'm stirring them. I'm stirring and just kind of trying to let it cool down, and then I take it off the heat and stuff. But I almost wonder if it went a little too brown. It's pretty brown. I don't know. I'm a little nervous because I didn't think it was. I mean, it was a good golden brown, but I don't know if maybe in that metal, pot that heat induction or something, kept going. I don't know. I hope I didn't burn the butter, but I poured them in the molds, and they're going to be ready tomorrow. I got some cactus molds and heart molds. I couldn't find my pineapple and palm tree molds, the ones that I showed you guys before. This time I got hearts and cactus. So that's the molds I have. Let's see, what else do I need to tell you? So, let's talk about what all I had. So last night, I had a snack plate, man. I told you I was going to break a hard rule. I told you last night, I warned you guys, I said, well, the way that my dinner was kind of broken up and it wasn't my full portions and stuff, I had a feeling. And sure enough, I got real hungry late at night last night. So, and I did. So I know you guys are going to be happy about this, but I had 5 slices of cheese. Okay, this was the white cheddar, the Vermont, where it's fairly natural. There's only a few ingredients in it. And then I had 8 pepperonis, and I had 15 pork rinds. And these are the pork rinds that are just pork skin and salt. That's all they are, and of course they're cooked in pork. But they're the brand is like Max or something, but they're good. So the pork rinds and the cheese. So the reason why I did that is because I did get a suggestion for that. So I appreciate you, whoever, you know who you are. And the pork rinds kind of act like saltine crackers, right? So you just take a pork rind, you put a slice of cheese on it, and it's like having cheese and crackers. So I know, like when I told you guys before about my cheese and crackers from my childhood, this was at least something that I could at least kind of do that was similar to having some late night cheese and crackers. So it was some cheese and pork rinds. And of course, a little bit of pepperonis because I had that right there also. And I knew that the meat would help satiate me because I don't know, man, guys, I'm sorry, man, for those of you that are pepperoni haters. I'm sorry, but man, those bags of pepperoni that you get that are like, they're like $3, okay? And it's a great snack for me in the daytime when I go to break my fast. It just gives me some good. I'm satiated and I like it. So sorry, I know you guys are gonna be like, but Josh, it's like a processed meat. Well, it's meat and it's 0 g sugar. Although technically, if you look in the ingredients, there's a little bit of sugar, chemical in there. But hey, it's less than a gram. They can get away with that. That's why they put 0 grams in the ingredients or the listing, but then you see it in the ingredients a little bit. So I don't mind those very, very trace amounts, so I can have some pepperoni. So that's fine. I'm looking at. I may end up making some beef jerky, homemade, because that brings me to the next thing. I also had some beef jerky today. So instead of pepperoni, I ended up having some beef jerky in the daytime today when I went to break my fast. So I found me some local beef jerky that was only just some basic ingredients. That's it. And it was a little tough on my teeth a little bit. I will admit it was a little rough, but it was good. It was very good. So I had some local beef jerky. And then, of course, I had my steak. And yes, the eggs go there. Yes, the eggs go there. Because I was hungry. Here's the deal. This is why the reason why the eggs are missing in the picture, because I'm going to be honest with you. I wanted to have a thumbnail of my steak and eggs for you guys. Because I try to show you, I've been trying to at least show you what I eat every day. And so I made my steak. It was resting and I was doing some other cleanup and I was like, oh God, I got to make my eggs real quick. Well, I was making my eggs. And then as I'm making my eggs, I forgot I turned the burner off. So like the eggs weren't even cooking all the way. They were starting to cook a little because of the warmth. But I was like, oh God, I turned them on. I was like, my steak's going to get cold because, you want a good 5-minute rest, but you don't want like cold ass steak. So I was like, I went to go eat it. I'm like, oh God, the thumbnail. So I was like, all right, I'm just gonna take it and I'm gonna start eating my steak and we'll just have to have the eggs missing. So that's why, guys, because like I literally took that picture right before diving into that steak. And again, another great steak. And I know that a lot of you talk about reverse searing and all that stuff. And that's awesome, guys. I appreciate those tips. I may try those, for me, honestly, for somebody like me, I don't want to fire up the oven sometimes and dirty any other dishes. Sometimes I just want to I can heat up my pan really quick, throw my steaks on, sear them, and I can have it done in like 10 minutes, altogether. And so it's really nice to just be able to sear up a steak, have it done in like 10 to 12 minutes at the most, and be able to serve and all that. So I don't know, guys. Some of you there's a couple of you that suggested the reverse searing method where you use the oven and things like that. I don't know. I might try it. Like I said, there's a lot of your guys' suggestions I want to try at some point. We'll see. I'm going to try to get to some different ones. But I had steak and 3 eggs for dinner. And of course, I'm full. I did have a small poop today. Small. And it was normal. So not a big deal. I like that. What else? But I felt, again, pretty good today. Had enough energy to do my job, to go and do my shopping afterwards. And, because I did some more shopping and, and I'm still going. I got to do another job. So I've got my coffee. I actually don't have my coffee on me. Oh, and that reminds me. So some of you overseas people, you know who you are, was talking about my coffee. Now, I want to say, back off. I'm just kidding. I want to say, hey, no, seriously, like I want to know, guys, especially from the overseas guys, because apparently they're saying like Americans make coffee like shit. Okay. So I want to know, is that true? Like, do we make really shitty coffee? Like, do we have like shitty method? And I keep hearing I need to do like espresso, right? I need to make a good espresso coffee. Is that true? I heard that from, I think, one of my commenters, one of my now friends, now that he's friends with us, right? He's in our family. I think he was from Australia, and he was saying that they know how to make coffee. But I hear some other people, I think even Rick Van Man, he drinks maybe an espresso at times. But if you guys can teach me how to make a good espresso, that's one thing I've never done. But I want to know what's the best way. Now I can't go out and buy some fancy freaking steampunk looking fucking machine. Okay. I'm just saying. All right. So you guys are gonna have to work with me. Remember, this is all about low budget carnivore for me. Okay. So, but I've got a Ninja coffee maker thing. It's pretty nice. But you guys can teach me how to make I want a good tasting espresso, right? So tell me some beans, give me some advice. You guys are great about that. So I'm expecting some good espresso stuff. All right. But guys, I've rambled on enough today. I just wanted to cover all those topics. I hope they help you. I just also have to get them off my chest. This is my diary after all, and you guys are partaking in my diary. So, other than that, I think that's all I got. Did you guys want me to go live sometime again real soon? I wouldn't mind doing another live episode. Maybe we could talk a little more about the habits, because that's the big struggle. Is just the everyday desires. I'm like, I don't, and again, and one last point. I don't know. Only us really fat people get it. Okay. Some of you that were overweight or medical problems, maybe you might get it, but us big fatties, like, you know what I'm talking about. See, people say, oh, well, if you're full, if you eat until you're full, you don't desire other foods. That's not true for us. See, big fatties, we always have room, right? We have room. If we want something, like I told you, if we have a cake in the fridge and we get done and we're like, oh my God, I'm so stuffed. Oh, and then somebody's like, what about pie? And you're like, oh yeah, I can have pie. Yeah. They're like, you don't want to wait? No, I got room. Well, let's have some pie. Like, you have room. Like, we will make room for stuff, even if we're stuffed. That's the thing about the addiction and all that stuff, because in our minds, we're like, oh my God, I better have some pie now before somebody else eats it all or something, before it ends up gone. Like, trust me, these are thoughts. These are real thoughts that go through people's minds, and you know what I'm talking about out there. That's the thing. When you guys listen to me, you can relate, because you have those thoughts, and even if it's not a majorly conscious thought, but you're just like, I better eat it. It could go bad. Somebody could eat it. Like, these are all things that you think about, and then so you're like, I better just go ahead and eat it. I want it fresh, whatever it is, whatever the excuse is, but it's there. I better eat it now, because I know I won't eat it tomorrow or it'll be gone, especially if you live in a house with other people, right? Like pizza. I want to eat it while it's there. You start doing that pizza math. Anyways, all right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow. We're closing in on our first month. Actually, this Monday, this Christmas. Well, I mean, technically, what is this Christmas? Well, Monday's weigh-in. That's 4 weeks. So that's 4 weeks. So we can call that a month, right? But in any case, guys, Monday will be weigh-in. I'm still going to weigh in Christmas morning. All right. I'm still going to keep true to that. All right. But guys, we'll see you tomorrow.